Hey guys, many of you who know me know that I really like my Remington Versamax. Yeah, that goes against a lot of what I believe in terms of the quality control that has been abandoned at Remington. For some reason, the Versamaxes must be going through some sort of different QC program. However, I have rarely found a gun for a multi-gun purpose that I prefer as much as I do the Remington Versamax. That might have changed. I'll admit, sometimes I can be a bit closed-minded when it comes to firearms, but that's mainly because I'm using these things as tools. They're not trophies to me. I use these to protect myself, my family, and things like that that mean a lot to me. This is the Mossberg JM Pro Series, the Jerry Miculek inspired shotgun, multi-gun shotgun. I gotta tell you, man, it's got a lot of the same features as a Remington Versamax does. It's got a really nice look to it. I know we're not buying guns for looks. Some people do. This is nice. It's got all the features that I would expect any multi-gun shotgun. It's got your high visibility bead, fiber optic bead up on the front. It's got your knurled, oversized charging handle. I really like that because you're going to be able to get in there and charge this thing with either hand without having to think about it, and it doesn't matter what position you're coming from. You'll notice that the loading gate in the bottom, between the gate and the port itself, it's beveled, so it's going to give you a whole lot better insertion in terms of fast speed loading. You'll also notice that they cut back the handguard a little bit. It's trimmed back a little bit away from that loading gate so that you don't run the risk of running into it whenever you're loading some shells pretty fast. I do like the over travel screw that you have here in the trigger guard. One thing that's cool about this is you can fine tune this thing, and it's gonna give you the opportunity to not have so much pull back. Whenever your gun fires, you set that screw where you want it to be so that you have a little bit less take up. Look, in 3-gun or multi-gun, that's gonna save you a little bit of time. Seconds count when it comes to things like that. Your scores are gonna be a lot better because you are resetting that trigger a little bit quicker. The internals are made of some pretty cool alloys and hard strengthened plastic, as you have your synthetic stock and handguard here. Overall, this is a nice gun. And again, you got your buttstock here that's got some additional padding on it. You'll even notice that the top is drilled and tapped in the event you want to put some kind of additional optic on here. It's got everything you need, guys, for multi-gun, but also see this thing serving as a decent home defense gun. But I know what you're thinking, just like I think all the time, how does it shoot? I was able to take it out earlier and shoot it. Let me show you some of the things that you can actually do with this thing. The purpose of multi-gun shooting, in many cases, is simply to mimic self-defense. It's to allow you to get proficient with your firearm under conditions that you might not normally be. Most of us doing standard static shooting at a range are very rarely going to have a sense of adrenaline rush. We're also rarely going to have a sense of repositioning our gun and refocusing on an additional target outside of the standard static one that we're already shooting at. That's where the benefit of multi-gun shooting comes into play. Not only is it helping train us to better utilize our firearm under somewhat of a high-stress simulated situation, but it's also going to give us a better sense of, again, refocusing on other targets, other distances, other positions, things that we're not going to normally experience. All right, guys, I've set up kind of a poor man's multi-gun right here. I'm gonna shoot the cow first. Then I'm gonna run over here all the way to this side. I'm gonna get 2 of my steel targets. I'm gonna work my way back. I'm gonna get these 3 bottles, and I'm gonna finish up on these 2 plates right here with the Texas Star. I got 9 shots, so I'm gonna have 1 extra. This is a total of 8 targets. So again, I have an extra because I'm known to miss sometimes. How did I miss a bottle? How in the world did I manage to miss a bottle? Whatever, that's me. You know, guys, I've had one variation of either Remington, Mossberg. At some point throughout my entire life, I've owned one of these brands of guns. Remington used to be one of my favorite. Their quality control issues went a little bit awry when they got purchased out by that Freedom whatever group. And I've actually had 870s since that purchase that I had to sand the chambers of because rounds wouldn't eject properly. I've even ripped the lip off of rounds before on a brand new shotgun that would not eject and extract a shell. The Versamax, I have not found that issue. Clearly a different quality control group is in charge of the Versamaxes versus the Remington 870s. I guess I get that because you're talking about a different price and maybe they expect more out of that. Whatever. I feel like quality control is quality control. It shouldn't matter what your product is being sold for. You should sell them all as if they're being sold as a high dollar part. However, the Mossberg JM series, the Jerry Miculek inspired series, is a sweet shooting gun. I've never had an issue with Mossbergs. I felt like back in the days that the Mossbergs simply weren't made as good as the Remingtons, but they weren't expected to be. The prices were different. They're made with, in many cases, aluminum receivers instead of steel receivers. They're made more of a budget conscious type firearm. However, this gun runs in at about half of what the Versamax is. It's not a cheap gun, but it's gonna give you what you're looking for in the Versamax, and again, maybe half the package as far as price goes. So I can't say anything negative about this. Not that I'm looking for something negative about it. And for the sake of full disclosure, I purchased both of these firearms with my own money. You can see the receipt if you want it. But I love this Mossberg. It feels good. It looks good. It shoots good. It's relatively light. Again, there's some alloy parts and some high density resin inside here that make up some of the internals, but they work. The piston system being embedded inside that cam is a really nice touch. Being a very, very short stroke piston, I don't see there being enough momentum and enough, I guess, mass moving around in long distances where anything's going to break. You're probably not going to have an issue with those piston rings inside there. They're probably going to stay intact for a pretty good time. Big fan of it. I don't see it replacing my Versamax, but I see it sitting right next to my Versamax in the event that I need it. And hey, look, some of the 3-gun, multi-gun type simulation that we did out here today proved to me also that acquiring different targets in a little bit fast, well, as fast as I can do it, in a little bit fast, different type scenarios is very doable with this firearm. The 22-inch to me made it a lot easier to maneuver and handle. So if you want this thing to double as your multi-gun, but also your home defense, I see that happening. You could get in and out of doorways with this thing and not worry about having to make room for yourself. Go check one out.